By now, most every one of you out there who calls themselves a traveler has had some kind of run-in with an unfriendly airline policy or practice, like high change fees or overweight bag charges. But frankly, those kind of things are disclosed by the airlines and are well documented in plain English. Granted, sometimes they are only found in the very fine print. But there are other more unfriendly practices out there that are not necessarily disclosed and are somewhat hidden inside an airline's pricing and award flight logic. And these practices work against you and I as a consumer and often make travel planning quite difficult. And many people don't even know that these practices exist. So I'm going to talk about one now, known as married segment logic, and we'll see if we can change that just a bit. Hey everyone, this is Ben with ExploreInformed, where we dig into the details of travel, so that next time you go exploring, you can go a little bit better informed. As we get started, I'm going to be talking about married segment logic in the context of booking award travel, although it can also apply to your standard revenue travel. If you're not familiar with award travel, what that means or how it works, I'm going to link to one video up over here where I dig into award travel just a little bit. But when I say award travel or award redemption or award seat, really any variation like that, I'm talking about the same thing. And that is using frequent flyer miles or points to redeem a free flight. As I stated a moment ago, one of the practices out there that airlines employ and do not talk about widely is called married segment logic, in which two flights are paired together or married, and as a result, they are treated as a single unit for the purpose of redeeming or giving away award seats. And the availability and pricing of that single combined unit may be different than the individual components themselves. Imagine a package deal, but one where the individual components are not available on their own or at the same rate. Another way to think about it is that airlines will differ the number of award seats available on a single flight based on whether you are connecting through one of their major hubs or gateways or booking a direct flight between two hubs. When applied in the context of booking award travel, it works something like this. Say you are planning a trip to the UK and you're trying to book an award seat for free from, we'll say, Tucson to London with a connection in Denver. And you are able to find an award flight at the lowest redemption level for exactly that. Tucson to Denver and then onward to London. But imagine a friend of yours is planning to join you in London and they happen to live in Denver. And they say, hey, I'm going to look at the same flight as you. However, when they are searching for an award seat on only the second segment, Denver to London, no award seats are available. This is how married segment logic can play out. The airline has married the Tucson to Denver segment with the Denver to London segment and allows an award redemption for that combined unit, but will not permit a traveler to book only the international leg from Denver to London. Here's a real-world example I found recently on AA.com that I think will demonstrate the point. An American Airlines Saver Award between the US and Europe runs 57,500 miles each way in business. I found award availability at the Saver level between Austin and Paris with a connection in Charlotte for April 6th of 2020. The married segments consisted of AA Flight 1961 from Austin to Charlotte and Flight 786 between Charlotte and Paris. But if I try to book an award seat on just AA 786 between Charlotte and Paris, so the exact same flight to Paris on the exact same day, there is no availability at the Saver level for 57,500 miles. Instead, the only business seat available will run a whopping 180,000 miles one way, over triple the rate when booked on the exact same flight, only originating in Austin. So as you can hopefully tell by now, married segment logic can have a pretty big impact on the availability of award seats, and therefore the rate at which one must spend miles to redeem an award seat. Now, there are a few reasons why airlines might apply this logic, which are self-serving and profit-driven, but you'd unfortunately expect that from a publicly traded airline. This tactic is used to control inventory and manage revenue on flights and routes, and particularly the ones that airlines want to sell to a high-paying customer and not simply give away. In a way that makes sense, as airlines don't want all of the seats on a high-traffic, hub-to-hub flights to be occupied by people who are flying on free award tickets. They want to sell those seats to like last-minute travelers or business people on juicy corporate contracts. But the bottom line is that practices like this ultimately are bad for your standard traveler who is traveling on their own dime. And let me make this clear too, airlines are not giving away award seats when a seat is redeemed for miles. You earn that seat with your loyalty or your credit card use. In the grand scheme of things, the airline is not losing out on their side, trust me. they're making a ton of money in the long run on their credit card programs, for example. All that said, what frustrates me most is this. Airlines are constantly trying to incentivize travelers to remain loyal by handing out frequent flyer miles. But the airlines then turn around, kind of behind your back, and work very hard to control how it is that you spend those miles, like by employing merit segment logic or by introducing dynamic award pricing. Airlines already have control over the rate at which you earn miles, as they alone get to decide the rate at which you earn them for each flight you take, the bonuses you get when signing up for new credit cards, and so on. But airlines are also working now, harder than ever, to better control the rate at which you redeem those miles. And if airlines can exert control over the rate at which we earn miles and the value we get when redeeming them, then to some extent the airlines have ultimately won the war, and there's not much left for us as consumers to gain. And I don't know about you, but much of the appeal of collecting airline miles and points is the idea that you can redeem them at a value or rate of return that exceeds the rate at which you earn them. The idea that we can save up all these miles we earned on the cheap and then redeem them on a very expensive, aspirational trip halfway across the world is what keeps many people going in the miles and points game. When customers lose the ability to redeem those aspirational awards, then the shine and the luster of the program really wears off quite quickly. So now that you know what merit segments are, hopefully you are better equipped to recognize them if you see them, because a lot of airlines are employing the method right now. According to the Live and Let's Fly blog, airlines that employ merit segment logic include Air France, Air Tahiti Nui, American, Austrian, British Airways, Brussels, Delta, KLM, Lufthansa, Singapore, Turkish, and United. And there are probably many more out there. So I hope you found this video helpful and now you know what merit segment logic is. Let me know down in the comment section below. As usual, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ExploreInformed. And feel free to hit the subscribe button down over here if you want to catch more of our future content. But until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.